Hey Adrian, how are you going? Ooh, I look like I'm having some poor connection at the moment. I think I know why. Give me 2 seconds. It should be fine. Yeah, it should be fine. All right. All right, let's get started. How have you been, Adrian? Hopefully you've been well. Actually, the webcam's down there now. So, yeah. Oh, here comes Socks. There. She's doing a flyby. She didn't want to stay there for long. I am just also opening up WebStorm. I'm just gonna open up Welk. Give me a couple of seconds. So I run Welk in this. And then I'll run NearBeach in this, and that should be fine. All right, cool. Have you tired from work? Fair enough. We've been training new stuff. Ooh. Yeah, I can't complain. Just getting really busy at the moment. So, NearBeach is going through a massive refactor. We're removing all the technical debt from it. We're essentially moving all the backend calls API. We're also going to implement OAuth hopefully soon. And we're redesigning it. So we've got a mock-up which is currently being built. It's not functioning, it's just a very vertical slice of being like, this is what it'll potentially look like, and so forth like that. So moving stuff over off to the right, and having pretty much everything on the page. Yeah, we just gotta figure out how I want to do a couple of things, how it'll look. So there'll be a lot of tweaks and so forth like that. And I'm also starting to yeah, pretty much just starting the whole rewrite process of NearBeach. It's a massive refactor. Yeah, it's going to take me a little while. I'm hoping to get it done mid-year, because I feel like once some things start happening, it's going to get faster and faster and faster. Now, one thing which I know, I had an issue last stream. I was way too tired to figure this out, and it wasn't until yesterday, and I don't know how I figured this out yesterday because it was like 40 degrees Celsius. I know why the migrations didn't work properly. One of the things that we wanted to do with NearBeach was separate out the models into their own sort of little structure and stuff like that, so it makes sense and it's a lot easier to find, and these files are a lot smaller and self-contained. Now, one thing I do know is we're also using common abstractions, so these particular fields are in pretty much every single table. So we created a common abstraction for this, and we're just giving it to everything. And what I've done is with requirements. So we've got requirements here. That's all fine and dandy. I think it was the requirement list of requirement type or something like that. One of these particular tables or classes is list of requirement statuses. So the one problem is I haven't actually stated that this is an abstraction or anything like that, and it's not pulling in these fields, so it thinks that we've gotten rid of them. One of two ways we can do it. We can just copy and paste those particular fields into here and deal with it at a later date, or we could write an abstraction today. I'm going to do the former just because it's going to be quicker, and I'll come back to this because there are a couple of other issues that I want to research a little bit more around the abstraction layers and stuff like that for the database, because it might get to the point where abstractions are good to a certain extent. If I have to go spelunking through your abstractions, that is bad. If I can have a look at the abstraction and go, oh yeah, it's just at this level, and go to it very, very quickly, that's pretty good. So yeah. For those on YouTube, we run ads every half an hour on Twitch. We've got about 30 seconds left of the ads, so yeah, you get to see my face for a little bit. If you're lucky, Socks will come over, but she's looking pretty angry at the moment. I don't know why. She's just staring at the door for no apparent reason. So yeah. Alright, let's get back into it. Welcome back, everyone. Alright, so what I want to do is I want to go to this, and we're just going to copy these. Yeah, I'm not going to worry too much about that abstraction layers. Now she walks past when I got her on the small screen. Don't sit on the keyboard, sweetie. Alright. Going to that implementate. Oops. Sorry, I meant to go to declaration or usage, and we just want this. Oh. Alright, we just want that at the moment. So if I go over here, go source VM activate, and if I go Python 3 manage migrate, yeah, alright, not a problem. We just need to put common info in here. Easy done. And then we're just applying the migrations we have already. Oh, foreign key mismatch. NearBeach, requirement items, list of requirement items type. So I've done something silly. I'm going to undo that. I'm just going to see if I need to make migrations. It's impossible to add the field date created with auto true now equals true to list of requirement item type without providing a default. Alright. So we are going to provide a one-time default, and we're going to do timezone.now. So we've got all of those. Now the one problem is Python 3 manage migrate. That's not going to work because we're going to create the things, and yeah. So what I've actually got to do is, for starters, I'm going to remove the database, and I'm going to copy the database from the old version. I'm going to put it here. It's done. We're going to actually modify the migration file. So what I want to do, we've got migration files. Oh, we've got 49. Okay, I've kept that in by mistake. I'm just going to delete that one. We've also got this one. I'm just going to delete both of them. Because now I realized I screwed up a little bit. And then I'm going to go Python 3 manage migrate. This hopefully won't take too long to migrate. And then I'm just going to go Python manage make migrations. So we do have a couple of things that don't make any sense. If I go git status, I'm making sure that I haven't. What did I do for the comment? Oh, I've just removed a couple of silly lines. That's perfectly fine. We can remove those silly lines. That's perfect. Yeah, we don't need to worry about that. But I'm just worried that we need to still do some migrations for this when we should have set stuff up. And a couple of those migrations we don't want to do. Remove field backout plan. And then add field backout plan to request for change. I think I've got a rename function somewhere wrong. So I'm just going to go into here. We are going to go back out. RC backup plan to backup plan. All right. Yep. So we are going to keep it one word. If I go back out plan. Aha. There we go. Remove field summary for request for change. Request for change. Ooh, add field description. All right. So what's actually going to happen is we're going to rename the request for change. So what I want to do is I want to go back into here. So we've got the ID, implementation, this. Oh, this is actually a good question. Yeah, it should definitely be description. We want generic names. So I've taken care of that, that takes care of that. Alter fields, change. Alter field, change task locks, unchanged tasks. Herald status on list project status. We are just altering these particular fields. I just want to see what we're altering. All right, we don't need we need alter field. So change block, change task blocks. All right. This is the project statuses. Higher order statuses. Yeah, no, that makes sense. List of task statuses. That makes sense. Blank true, default. Oh, okay, yeah, those are the extra stuff that we've been adding in. All right, cool. All right, what I'm going to do, I'm going to remove the migrations 0049 for the moment. I'm going to remove our local database sort of thing. I'm going to copy once again the old database in here. Easy done. We're going to go Python 3 manage migrate. I'm going to hope for the best. Relay Socks has just knocked my webcam. She's like, all right, I'm going to go past and knock the webcam. So then we want to go Python 3 manage make migrations. Now, I kind of want to go through each one of these, see what's changed. If I accept one of these changes, I'm going to actually put it in the previous migration file. So the idea is, hopefully, fingers crossed, when we do deploy 032, it's only going to be one migration file, and that's it. All right, I'm going to close all tabs. I'm just going to open up this one, iron. I'm going to open up this one. So migration, alter field, change task block. So the name is change task block. Yep, cool. Field foreign key, Django on cascade delete, related name blocks. Did we rename something? So here's the change task block. So yeah, model name, change task block, common info. So change task blocks, blocked change task. I might have. Yeah, I might have done that. That's fine. What I want to do . Now, I'm just going to put this off to the side. This is what we originally have. Change task block, change user. All right, cool. So we did another little tiny change. So what I'm going to do, I'm happy for that to go in there at the moment. It's easy done. List project status. Oh, can't type, can I? List of project statuses, yep. Higher order status. Okay, we didn't do anything around that. So I'm just gonna, once again, cut this in. We're gonna paste it in. This is fine. We then want list of requirement item statuses. That's just down here. This is the change user. All right, cool. This would be us. Something's telling me that should be a rename. All right. It definitely should be a rename. Yeah. I'm trying to remember what it was called. We can always look up the old database. Oops, data grip. All right, we're just going to move this all the way over here. We're just going to minimize all of this. Yeah, we're fine with all of that. So select everything from NearBeach. This is list of requirement item statuses. That's fine. Yeah, we shouldn't be deleting any of it. I might be changing the length because it is an alter field. If I go Python manage migrate, that will put the file into here. What I'm going to do, I'm going to reload this, which then we should reload this. We should then be seeing, yeah, we should be seeing that data. All right, so I'm kind of happy with that at the moment. So we are going to move on to list of task statuses. There we go. So we've just got another one where we've modified the field slightly. And we've done that. We've also got one for notification. And we've also got one for project, but we've got a couple for project. That's the problem. Okay, not a problem. Now, in reality, I can cut this and put this in this file at the very, very bottom, but what I'm trying to do is get some sort of order in this. All right, request for change, which is why I'm spending a little time actually doing this. Oh, I've missed one. And then we have one for task. All right, now that's done. I'm going to delete that. What we want to do, let's remove the database. Let's copy in the last database into here. Let's go Python 3 manage migrate, and it should only be migrating one file now. All right, sweet. And then if we go Python 3 manage make migrations, it should come up with, yeah, no changes detected. All right, so if I go git status, I go git add. We've just modified all of those. Git commit, fix to migration issues where certain changed items were not reflected within the migration file. Git push. All right, cool. I should also check Python 3 manage test. This is going to fail. Yeah, just no test ran. Okay, so last stream, when I was extremely exhausted, we were trying to figure out how to check whether or not a user had 2FA. I've done a little bit of research. I was a little too tired last stream to even think properly, considering I didn't understand why I had migration issues. What I want to do is I want to go interviews, API, authentication, and then authentication views in here. So we've got that handled two-factor. What I kind of want to do is I kind of want to change a bit of the logic in here. So if I go to, because the user might want to have multiple ways of 2FA. All right, so what I'm trying to think of is user does auth, on the server itself, it goes through and checks auth. Sorry, I am going to type this out. I really need to set up my my Wapkin tablet again. So one server checks auth. If it fails, it of course sends back an error, and then server checks 2FA exists. If the user doesn't have 2FA exist, to log them in. 3 server user specifies which 2FA they would like to use, and from there the system determines whether or not, if they click on email, users server sends out email. If they've done with the token, if they're on with the app, it doesn't. It takes them straight to the 2FA login, and then 5 user logs in. That way, if they're set up 2FA, we're giving them an option to have 2 types of 2FA. I've also got to deal with backup codes and all that kind of stuff too. So I might rejigger this. So I still like the login. I'm going to have another class for this. So yeah, if they log in, if not valid, it sends back a bad request. We're happy with that. Then it authenticates. If the user can't authenticate, it sends that off. We could potentially put this into its own little function just to shrink this down. This here. Once it authenticates, we do want to initialize base values. That's just the first time login type of situation. For every other time, if there exists a user and all that kind of fun stuff, it never checks that again. There's a quick couple of checks in there being like, oh yeah, everything exists. We're happy with that. If the user has a device, we've got to handle that properly. So what we want to do we kind of want to do that. At the moment, do I need self? I'm not 100% sure. We'll need the user, definitely. I'm just making this a static method for the moment. But what we'll return... Oh, and this is where I need Django, Python types. List of strings. It should be types. List string. All right, cool. Done. All right. Function to get a list of users to factive devices. All right, cool. It'll just. Oops, I actually did want that. We're just gonna have devices like that at the moment. Can I do something like that? Oh, this is throwing up an issue. Turn devices. All right. This is where I've got to reference what I looked up before. Sorry, it's on this computer. To do TOTP device.objects. Okay, cool. Awesome. So, whoa. Don't want to break another laptop. Actually, I haven't broken the laptop. That's what I don't. All right, you can belong there. We've got to import stuff we need. So I'm just saying we need that device from Django one-time password dot plugins dot one-time password email dot models import email device. All right, cool. Static device too from one-time password plugins got one-time password static dot models. All right, cool. What I want to do is definitely cheat. I am definitely cheating. And I think we need confirmed equals true in here. Get list of all potential devices. And then it'll be email devices. It'll be the same with email device. Yep, all right, cool. Okay, not doing the UB key just yet. And Sherry Carrot, how are you going? Hopefully you're going well. It's midweek. So what I want to do is essentially if TOTP devices dot exist, we're going to go devices dot append, and we're going to go TOTP, and then if email devices dot exists, we're going to go devices append email. And that's it for the moment. We can probably do this in a lot smarter way, but at the moment, I'm just going to go simple code. It's just going to be a lot easier. Add the device to the array if it exists. Easy done. So everyone's happy with that. That way I don't need to handle any of that. So what we do is when someone posts this, I'm going to move that out. I'm going to go up here and I'm going to go at static method. Oops. Def check user authentication. Let's handle the one-time password. All right. We need to. Okay, that. I need to do this in a smart way. All right, no, I don't need to actually do that up here then. Okay, so I need to keep that in the post, in this flow, because yeah, that will return that, and that's perfectly fine. Check that. We need to check if the user has a device. Okay, so check to see if user has a device. All right, cool. So this will be devices equals self.check user two-factor. We pass through the user. Oh, and we've just hit another ad break. All right, ad times. For those on YouTube wondering what's actually happening, we run ads every half an hour on Twitch. That's to stop the pre-rolled ads because they suck. Yeah, you get to see me. We tend to do this so no one misses out on any content, unless I'm really hyper-focused on what's happening, in which case then I accidentally miss the ads, which has been happening a little bit lately. So, got about a minute left. I'm actually going to turn on my light. Okay, that's a little bit better. I didn't realize how dark it is in here. And we do have the cube. Alright, let's... Alright. Okay, we've got one side and all that kind of stuff. We're about 20 seconds off from the ads finishing. Alright, and we're done. There we go. Alright, about 4 seconds left. So yeah, hopefully everyone's going well. Welcome back, everyone. Okay, so we're checking for the devices. If the length of devices is greater than 0, and this is where we'll have a look at the one-time token being null up here. Yeah, we've purposely made the serialization global so we can access it without having to feed it through everywhere. Alright, now that's saying I can do something a bit better. Ah, okay, yeah. Cool. User has set up 2FA but has not supplied credentials. So we've just got to now go so essentially if we go down here, we've got the one-time token, we've got all of this. I'm just wondering, we're just telling the front end that, hey, none of this works. So we're essentially doing just this. We're not generating the code at the moment because we're going to get the user to pick the code. So I'm just going to move that code just down here and we're going to paste it into there. It just checks everything. All right, so otherwise, now we can properly handle the 2FA. User has not set up 2FA, log user in. So what we're going to do is if the length of the device is equal 0. We're just going to go return self.login, and we're happy with that. Now we can do an else if down here, which will be a little bit better. So user has set up to FA, but has not supplied the one-time password token. And I'm going to have to change this to be one-time password token. It's done. We're all happy with that. Then I'll go through here and it'll send a response being like, hey, give me your two-factor required. And this is where we need to handle the two-factor. So handle the two-factor. And this will be return self.handle two-factor. Yeah. So that should be a little bit of a better setup. It's not the neatest, but hey, it'll work. Function to authenticate a user. Yeah, cool. Function to login user and return success status. Now that could be a static member because we're not accessing anything static. We're just logging the user in and we pass that data through. So yeah, that's perfectly fine. This one will come back to. This one will handle the two-factor verification and login request. Yeah, cool. So, another thing that I've got to do and I just realized is when just trying to think. When we want to handle the 2FA, let's say they want to do an email and they click on send email. How are we going to deal with that? Because I can create another endpoint easily. That's not going to be a problem. Yeah. What can I do, sucks? Should say, I don't know. Just giving this a good think in my head at the moment. I can create another endpoint that will trigger that. So if the user clicks on email, it'll send an email to the backend. However, I don't know if any of this process will actually work, so we're going to have to actually test it first. So one way to test it is, let's just do it. Let's just test it. Let's just go in. Let's go localhost I need the dev server running, so npm run dev, there we go. Sorry, socks, but your butt's in the way. We're just going to hit refresh. That will grab everything. I'm just going to do this so you guys can see what's actually happening. Actually, no, I'm going to move that off to the left. You guys don't need me to see me clicking on that. You just need me to see it here. So here we are. If I go forward, we've got devices email. All right, cool. So we know the length is 0. Yep, that passes. That's all fine and dandy. Ooh. All right, that's going to break. All right, this actually does need to be a double equals. Something like that. Reason being is that this will always be filled out. We've got a default on it. All right. Yeah, 2-factor required. Yep, that's all good and dandy. And that goes here. Oh, sorry, big on. Sorry, I'm just giving a good think about the process that I want to do here, and I'm trying to simplify it as best as possible. Because I'm pretty sure I don't need to set up anything. Turn header. Okay. How do I verify? One-time token. Match token. All right. Now I don't need to oh, sorry. Big yawn. Okay. So, one thing which I'm a bit confused at the moment is with the email stuff, we've got to email device objects get or create. Pretty simple sort of thing. And I could do that at the very, very start before We need authentication though. Oh no, we won't need authentication. In which case then I would just need another endpoint. The idea here is I don't want to overly generate an email if the user hasn't set it up. Alright, what I'm going to do is in devices, if email device exists, I am just going to generate an email straight away. So that is just this down here, devices.created, as easy as that. So, oh, all right. So wait, we've got devices, email devices object, get all create. Yeah, it would be that. No, I won't be getting create, sorry. Generate challenge. Much like down here. And then we should say email the user the code, no matter what. Later on, we'll probably redesign this a little bit better. But I think as a default, we should be just sending them an email. Does mean that the login process is a little bit longer, but that's not too much of an issue. All right, so we've got email device exists, devices email, that might generate the challenge, and then we just send back devices. In which case then the user can just I'm just wondering, we actually do want to send back to the user what devices they've got connected. That way when we come back, we're validating against the correct thing. Alright, so handle the token. We don't need to worry about that anymore. We don't need to worry about that anymore. We've got the one-time token. Yeah, we just need to validate logging in. I'm just seeing what my research picked up. They've got match token. I do need to import it, which I'm just cheating. I'm just going to import match token from Django one-time password. Yeah. And then they've got equal is none. That's when we've got an invalid token. Otherwise, we're returning the login. I think. do need the self because we're actually accessing a few things from here. Yep, all right. I'm going to try that out. I do need to open up Mailtrap. I'll bring it down for you guys. There we go. There's Mailtrap. We'll clear out all the the messages. I'm just logging in as admin. I'm just deleting that just so that you guys can see I've got a breakpoint there. I'm just gonna go okay. We have an issue. So what I want to do is I'm gonna resend, but I'm gonna add in a breakpoint. Did I ruin something? I'm just gonna put another breakpoint there. I'm just gonna reload. We're gonna hit this. I'm gonna hit this. So we have email. All right. Really sucks. Oh, we have set something up for the admin. All right, that's a bit weird. Fails that. Yep, all right, cool. Object has no attribute. Yeah, all right. Django one-time password, send out email request. All right. We did this last time. Objects, it'll be get or create. Get or create. And then that will be generate code. Don't know, we'll figure out in a second when things either work or don't work. Most likely not work. I'm just going to ignore all of those. Yeah, it's that's fine. All right. We've still got some old code which I can look at. Old new code. All right. Let's look into that. This is in the development that we want to do. This would be then the NearBeach up at the top. We want the views. We want the API. We want authentication. We want this because I pushed some random code in here. Device. We've got it like that. And then we've got email device. Like that. And then we got created. I'm just going to put a breakpoint right there. We are going to go back to our application. We're going to hit refresh to make sure it's come back. We're going to go and log in as the admin. It's stopping well before we get there, so I'm just going to put a breakpoint there. As part of the models, and in here, the email device. Oh no, that's part of the models. All right, I'm gonna hit refresh, delete all that. We're just gonna go admin. Click the wrong thing, sorry. So we're here. We also don't want it set on the, yeah. It's crashing on that one. All right. Just done. All right, waiting for the server to come back. We're just going to log in as the admin. Oops. We're just going to log in as the admin again. Gonna step over and because it created one before. All right, cool. I'm just going to go over here. We're going to refresh this. We're going to go and modify table. Sorry, not modify table. We're actually going to have modified data or edit data. We are I think we're just gonna drop the admin one. All right, let's try this again. All right, cool. $500 again. Email device has no attribute exists. Oh, all right. I'm just going to go back to filter. We're going to do the exists, and then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to have DEFGH. All right, cool. Def generate email token. I think I just need the user. And then all I need to do is do something like get or create this, and then we just need email device dot generate. So generate challenge. We'll generate, hang on. Like that, and this will be at static method. Thanks for not tabbing that in. Oh, we're on another ad break. All right, cool. For those on YouTube wondering what's actually happening, we run ads every half an hour on Twitch because they have pre-rolled ads. If I don't, and they suck. Yeah, we just do this for a minute and a half, so no one misses out on any content. Hopefully everyone's going well tonight. It is a lovely Wednesday here. I think tomorrow's going to be an absolute scorcher here. I have not looked at the weather, and I think I have to wake up super early just to make sure my garden is well watered. I'm just looking at the dreading, oh no, Thursday, 27. Okay, no, don't worry. It's a good day. It's not going to be absolutely hot. So, yeah. Unlike the other day. Alright, we've got about 8 seconds left of the ads. I'm not going to finish this in time, but that's perfectly fine. And welcome back, everyone. Let's get back into it. I'm just going to put this all the way over here. How's the garden going this year? Pretty good. I'm lucky I didn't lose anything yesterday in our 40-degree heat. Some plants were close to it, but once the sun set and stuff like that, I made sure I gave them another water. Haven't got much produce yet, and that's just because we didn't actually have a spring. It was just winter until the end of December, and we finally got some warm weather, which is annoying. Because I had quite a number of seedlings die, just mainly because there was October and November we were having such cold weather. Seedlings just died, and I was like, it's just annoying. Oops. Alright, so if email devices exist, device append email, and then self, this is generate email token user. Oh, doesn't this have a, yeah, now I need a self, don't I? Alright. That's fine. Easy. So, yeah, I don't have watermelons this year. I was thinking of going to Bunnings and buying some small ones, which will be, I had to do that with the cucumbers. Watermelon. Have I spelled that right? No, I have not. So yeah, I was thinking of buying a little tiny punnet of watermelons, but I was like, I don't know how long we've got this warm weather for. Yeah, and it's not guaranteed if I do buy something like this, they'll survive. So, yeah. It's very annoying. Alright, so we're generating the email token. We're all happy with that. We've done all of that. Alright, so I'm very happy with that. What I want to do, I want to refresh this. I'm just going to get rid of this. We are going to log in as the admin once again. We're going to hit these breakpoints. I'm just going to remove that breakpoint, and we've still got a 500. Not enough values to unpack. Expected to, got 1. Is that for this? Wait, I'm gonna have a look. So we've got the dot device, email objects, get or create. We've got all of that in there. All right. Oop. Wrong one. There we go. Just gonna refresh, make sure everything's perfectly fine. We're gonna log in as admin. We're not even hitting that. All right, I'm just gonna put breakpoint there. Not even getting there. All right, so we've reached this. It is hit here. We do filter. Now, why is that failing? Expected to got what? All right, give me a couple of seconds. I'm just having a quick look at my notes. Blah 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 blah. Email devices object of filter. Ah, I see it. All right, nope, that's on me. I program in the bugs. All right, we've hit that. I'm just gonna hit play. We've hit this one. I'm just gonna hit play. We hit this one. I'm just gonna step forward. That one should hopefully be okay. And I don't like that fact that it, oh wait, oh, no, that's fine. That's fine. All right. We should now see an email in here. All right, cool. So if I copy this and I go into here and I paste in the two-factor, we log in. All right, boom. Now, if I go admin log out, I don't think we can actually do it that way. I've got to implement the logout feature and I've got to fix that page up. So if I go to admin, I'm going to sign in. That's weird how it does that sometimes. It's like it doesn't send it properly. Right. It says it has sent my 2FA. What I'm going to do, I'm just going to copy this. I'm going to paste this in, but I'm going to do a number wrong, and I'm going to hit enter. And we've got a failure. All right, cool. Now over here, we've got the handle 2FA. So we've got all this forbidden login status of failure, or yeah, I think. Yeah, that'll work. Yeah. Now, the thing is, if I go back and let's say I edit and resend, now, did that work? No. All right, logging in. Yeah, it'll require a different 2FA every single time. All right, cool. I'm gonna log that out. I'll need to handle the forgotten password too. So now, if I do team leader, yeah, why did it do that? I go into team leader. Did I hit enter somewhere? No, I didn't. I just hit that. And then for some reason it just reloads the page and yeah. Now I've got 2FA set up on here. Give me a couple of seconds. Where is it? I don't know. There it is. All right. Oh, that worked. All right. We couldn't get that to work last time. I've got to test a random not worky case, but that's pretty easy to do. I got to do this to get a log log out and all that kind of stuff. I will. That's right. I wish you should have seen me last stream. I was so tired and I couldn't figure anything out. All right. So I want to do team leader. I've got to get the enters to work too, and I'm just going to key in some fake numbers. And that went back here. Oops. Yeah, I'm just gonna... Yeah, I just now need to tell the user that it failed. So, yeah, we might as well start dealing with all the edge cases now that is working, which is good. Don't know if it was a fluke, but I'm happy. So I think the auth is fine for the moment. We might come back and review quite a bit of it and be like, all right, cool, we'll do this, this, and this. Yeah, it didn't email me, which is good. All right, cool. I think I'll keep it simple for the moment and then enable people to choose what 2FA they want. And Crutchcorn, how are you going? Hopefully you're going well. Give me 2 seconds, shout out. How's your stream? What were you up to? I'm realizing I'm now watching myself because I was lurking here. And welcome everyone from Crutchcorn's stream. So what I'm doing is I'm refactoring NearBeach, an open source project management system. We're moving a lot of the calls to the API. One of those particular things is dealing with login and authentication. We used to use Django 2-factor to do all the 2-factor authentication, but it doesn't have an API or anything like that, so we're going to its source, so the Django one-time password. So yeah, link's okay. Should be. All right. Ooh, Rust multi-OS template. A template project for building Rust applications targeted at multiple operating systems and architectures using Cargo Zig build. Nice. I confirmed that the outputs of this build work with... I've yet to learn Rust, so one day I'll get there. I will learn Rust one day. So yeah, I was working on this. Nice. Mostly just for the lols. Fair enough. One day I'll get there. I'll get there to Rust. Oh, nice. The answer to life in the universe and everything is 42. So, yeah. Have you been at least? Welcome, everyone. No, I'm actually from Australia. So, I'm Melbourne-based. So, yeah, at the moment, it is summer here, hence t-shirts. Yeah. For those coming in, yeah, I've been working on NearBeach for 9 years now. Though, that being said, it started off as a learning project. And from there, what I've done is... let me just rephrase that. Back in August 2020, I deleted 95% of it. However, I kept some around, and then I added in more technical debt as I go along. I've become a lot better since then, and I'm kind of like, you know what? Nowadays, I know the API system. I know this. I know that. I'm going to refactor out all of this technical debt and make NearBeach a lot faster and a lot nicer to use. So yeah, I'm trying not to do anything too political. I hope you don't mind. I just don't want people fighting about politics in my chat, that's all. And also I'm Australian, so we have our own different problems here. So yeah, drop the A from us and it's US. No, all good, all good. Yeah, I try not to be political on stream. As you can see, Socks likes to show her butt instead. So, you know, you gotta run, gotta go to sleep. Yeah, that's fair enough. Thank you very much, Crutch Corn, for the raid. So, yeah, and welcome Raiders as we figure stuff out. So, I finally got to Earth A working, well, reworking again. So, which is great news, because last stream I was super tired, nothing was working. I had migration problems, and I was like, what the hell's happening? You know when you're just exhausted and a problem pops up and you're just like, I just don't want to deal with that right now. That was me last stream. This stream, however, I'm like, you know what? I can solve these problems. I did a little bit of research last night. So, yeah. So we've got the two-factor in. We kind of now want to tell the user why something failed. So if I type in admin and I give the wrong password, I kind of want a little warning popping up being like, hey, listen, this didn't work. So we're not getting that at the moment. And if I go over to the network tab, we are getting a 401 unauthorized. So, sorry, excuse me. So I do want that to actually appear somewhere in here. So let's kind of implement it. Let's just go down in here. We're going to go source. We're just going to go into components. This is part of the login page section. I'm just going to open up, going from the top down. We're going to go into the login panel page. So we've got an error message in here. And what I want to do is, when we've got this, await response data, case success, we've got a catch, but we're not doing anything here. So what I want to do is I'm just going to do that for a quick second. Don't update. We're just going to go over here. We're just going to delete this. We're just going to refresh everything. We're going to type in admin. We're going to type in the wrong password, and we're just going to send. So request failed with status code. All right, 401. We've got the bad request. Do we have data in here? We've got config. I don't think I did send back any data. That's the problem. Yeah, alright. We've got the activate two-factor panel. I want to double check. we've got the status. I'm just going to store this as a global variable so I can go status 401. All right, cool. We're going to add in a case statement in here, so switch case statement. So we've got error.status, easy done. What we want to do, case 401. We're going to state that the error message dot value equals credentials have failed. We then also want to clear out all of these credentials, so username, password, and one-time token. So username dot value now equals that, password dot value equals that, and one-time password token equals that. We also want to make sure that we're on the not the activate two factor panel. So if we click on that, you'll notice how it's like this. What we want to do is we want to go function. Imposter detected, initiating self-destruction. Fair enough. Actually, I want to. I like that. I'm thinking I could probably program that in. It wouldn't be too hard to do. So const fail count equals 0. All right, easy done. That's, oh, sorry. Yeah, 0. Because it won't be a ref. We won't be rendering it out, so we don't need to worry too much about referring it or anything like that. And what we want to do is there's an error. Fail count +1. Easy done. Increase the fail count. Oh, can't I access it? That's probably why it needs to be a ref. All right, not a problem. Not a problem. All right, we're happy with this. And then we should just go dot value equals, I don't know if the +1 will work, but that's perfectly fine. Then if failed count is less than or equal to 5, we'll do that. Otherwise, we will go imposter detected, initiating self-destruction. I think it's funny. Oh, good point. Yeah, sorry. This will be a let. And then let's simplify all of that. Yeah, good point. And I'm just going to call it fail count, not failed count. There we go. All right, I like it. Imposter detected, initiation self-destruct. That's hilarious. All right. So we replace everything. Now, I was also looking at activate to panel. I'm going to call it switch panels instead. Done like that. And then what we want to do is switch panels like so. And then we just want to break out of here. That's perfectly fine. For the default, what we want to do is we'll have an error message.value is going to be the error message that we pass through. We don't need another break, do we? Or does this complain if we don't have a break? Nah, it'll be fine. And that's how we're going to handle the errors at the moment. So I do want to test that. I think that will be hilarious. If we go back into here, I'm just going to refresh. We're just going to bump that off to the right. We're just going to type in a wrong password, and we're going to hit sign in. Credentials have failed. Oh, yeah, we don't want the switch. Okay, so going back up to here, we're going to go. Actually, what was it called again? I've already forgotten what it's called. Shoot. Activate two-factor panel. That's the one. And then function activate login panel. That will be backend. This will be go back to login. Here's login page. Value equals true. Yeah, we just got to make sure that we bump all of this back to reset. We could possibly do this a little bit better. But we'll leave it as that for the moment. Alright, so we've got this, activate two-factor panel. And then activate login panel. Yeah, I could probably do this a little bit better later on. But for the moment, I just want to get this to work, and then I can refactor it to be a lot nicer. I'm just going to refresh just to make sure. We are going to type in the wrong username and password. Credentials have failed. All right, cool. We're going to do that again. Credentials have failed. Credentials have failed. Credentials. Oops. Imposter detected. Yeah, there we go. All right, I like it. I really, really like it. We might make a little CSS change to that because it is very tiny. Oh, sorry, I'm trying to find the template and I keep flying past it. It's part of the login panel. So if we go down here, it's part of the error message. So if we go down into the error message part of this, we've got error message, font size. I'm going to bring that back up to a 1 with a line height of 1.25. Font weight is going to be bold. I think that's a little bit better. Yep, easy done. Okay. Now, a couple of things I've been thinking about is if I hit enter, nothing actually happens, and I kind of want to go. If someone hits enter, I should take them down here, or I should take them to the sign in straight away, which works for if you autofill in. All right, however, that being said, if I go at, I'll be on key down. Wonder if I can specify as a key. Give me 2 seconds. VueJS, enter key down. By default, this button submits a form when someone presses the enter key. All right, cool. View 2, you want to catch? Key up, enter. All right, cool. And then what I want to do is I actually want to put the focus on the password field. So I want to go focus on, yeah, I want to get it to focus on this password input. So let's go VueJS, focus input. You give autofocus property in the first input. not what I wanted. Address input. Where do we get address input from? Ooh, and we've just hit an ad break. Alright, for those on YouTube wondering what's actually happening, we run ads every half an hour. And Mohammed, how are you, Mohammed, how are you going? I can't complain, hopefully you're going well. I am much more awake than I was last stream, so I'm actually solving problems this time instead of causing them. Which is nice. Nice. I like it when my brain works. Instead of feeling like I was just absolutely tired. And, oof. So, yeah. Alright. Almost finished this cube. We've got about 40 seconds left of the ads. And yeah, we're just going to fix up a few things. There's a number of things I don't like, which, yeah, we'll fix up. So, yeah. One thing which I've been thinking about is how to notify the user that we're actually signing them in. We've got the sign in sort of warning stuff. I might actually have to go in and sort of edit well, so that way we've got better enums coming through. Alright, so with the password input, we've got all of that. Yep, alright, cool. On the key down, we want to focus on this password. So we've got the address input, we've got the ref input value. So we do have that. Password field. Yeah, I'm just going to have a read of some other stuff. Let's go through here. So we've got the form editor, input equals that. Yeah, all right, cool. So we do have ref const email ref equals none. Ref equals email. That's off. All right. Not with the options. We've got, yeah, the composition API. So it looks like we do need ref. No problem. We'll just go up here. You're fine? Oh, that's good to hear, Mohammed. So, yeah. We're just going to have a little ref up here. We're going to go, all right, cool, ref. I don't know. I'm just going to go password. We've got the emits, and then I'm going to go define refs, and then we've got const password equals ref. They've got it as null up here. And then, yeah, it's going to be something like that. function, and then what I want to do I think I'm also doing this as a wrong. Yeah, alright, give me 2 secs. That should actually be a form. And then I should also handle this too. This would be emit sign in. Like that. Alright, cool. And that would be that will still stay the same, I think. Yeah, that should hopefully stay the same. Then we've got the router link out of there. On key down, enter. You know what? I'm just gonna get rid of all of that. I'm gonna get rid of that. I think I changed my mind. Let's see how this works. I'm just gonna hit refresh. Login image is not working anymore. Can't convert value to string, which means I've screwed up somewhere. If I change that to that and then do something like that. Have I really royally screwed up? I have. What did I do? So login panel. I'm just going to comment that out. Yeah, no, something's still happening. Not a problem. What we can actually do, get status. What I can do is just reset what I've done. So I haven't really changed anything in here apart from the error message stuff. So I'm just going to go git check out that, and we'll be fine. I'll just put this back. Saves me having to find out what exactly I've done. I've done probably a typo somewhere, and it's screwing up. So if I refresh. Sorry, I've got to go npm run dev. And Mohammed, you have asked for the login form, have you considered using the composition API with script setup? Oh, I am. Might make the validation logic a bit cleaner. Yeah, I am using the compositional API. Also, adding an autofocus ref to the email field will improve. Yes, so it was actually a good idea. And I think we'll do that next. I just want to handle when someone hits enter on the keyboard for it to auto submit. So if I change that to a form, and then I go at submit equals emit sign in. So it should be like that. if I hit admin, boom. All right, perfect. Let's get that autofocus in, because that should be pretty simple to do. So I should be able to do it at this side of things. So what I want to do, I'm just going to close a couple of these because I no longer need them. I'm going to go view 3, autofocus input. I'm going to see it with the latest code. So on mounted direct focus app, register a global custom directive called VFocus. Max, can you stop doing that? No. No, it's dark. Oh, it's still light outside. No. Sorry, the cat's banging on the door. He wants out. Alright, that is one way of doing it. Register a global custom directive called VFocus. Okay. I'm just trying, sorry, I'm just rattling this in my brain. If what I'm reading here makes sense, or if I'm interpreting it correctly, is if I've got on every single sort of page a element which has a V-focus on it. That way, if I go to, let's say, a new like a new project with the project title being the V-focus, means it'll take focus onto that directly. I like that idea. For the focus issue, you're looking in view 3, you can use the template ref on the input call, import ref value, focus inside on the mounted hook. Also, a quick UX tip, adding loading state like a spinner or a disabled button. Yes, that is one thing which we do want to add in to the login button while the API is called. Is pending, would make the UI feel much more responsive. Yeah, so I do want to actually do that. Now the only, I won't say this is a problem, I'm going to call this a hurdle, is I've got to figure out how I kind of want to do that, because now I've separated out a lot of those UI elements into their own sort of library, so it's going to be essentially shell components. I've got a couple of ideas. So yeah. I've also got an idea of animating the button in a particular way so that the user can be like, oh, okay, cool, something's happening. So yeah, I've just got to toss a few things in my head around. I don't know if this would be good for us. And in some cases, someone comes to this question looking for a way to autofocus on a select element in view 3. You can achieve it using the view custom directive. V highlight. Oh. Alright, I kind of like this. V-focus, alright. Alright, let's try it out. We'll try it here first, but if it's something which we can potentially do globally, we'll probably implement it globally. This would be a HTML element. And then what we want to do is on here is just go refocus. And I'm just going to hit refresh. Didn't work. Damn it. Not a problem. It's probably because this is a component itself, not an input. E3 focus on input inside component, child component. Alright, it's hard to get which probably really work and fiddle. I've noticed two things that contribute to cause this behavior. Alright, sorry, just give me a quick think about a couple of items. Because yeah, we've solved one, being when you're in here and you like select that and you hit enter, it logs in. Another thing which I want to actually do yeah, it would be nice if we have that autofocus. I'm just wondering if we could get it, the child component to have a focus on. Alright, this is where I'm going to cheat. This is the one problem is because I've separated this out. We do have to do a little bit of work to get this to work. But not a problem. What we have here is we've got a simple text input right here. And what I want to do is I want to check one thing. We're just going to have a focus test. We're going to go function, focus test. We're just going to have console log focus test. Focus. Alright. Horrible. Absolutely horrible. Never do this. npm run build. So it didn't take too long to build, but what we're actually going to do is we're going to copy all of this. We're going to go over into here. We're going to open up the node modules. Actually, before we do, we're going to stop this. We're going to find Welk in here. There's Welk UI. We are going to delete that. And we're going to paste in our own stuff. Then we're going to rebuild everything. And then didn't do what we wanted to. Which is not a problem, but let's have a look at the JavaScript. There is a focus thing in there. All right. It's going to be one thing I'm going to have to actually figure out. I'm just going to rebuild that. Whilst that's rebuilding, I'm going to delete that. I'm going to... I'm just going to paste that in. Yeah, all right. Oh, sorry. Thank you. Oh, all right. I just don't know how to get that into focus. I mean, I could do a little bit of something. So what I could actually do is I can go ref equals email. Actually, it's technically not email because you can, yeah, it's username. That should be username. Yeah, all right, cool. I'm just gonna go username input. That makes sense. And I just want to go VueJS ref, template refs. So yeah, we've got template ref equals that, and then what we could do is on mounted input.value.focus. But I don't want to do that just yet, but I do want to do the on mounted stuff. You'll see in a second why. I'm cheating. All right, we're going to go on mounted. We're just going to go on mounted here. So on mounted, do all of that. And what we've got is we've got the username input, which they're referencing like this. All right, cool. I need to also do that stuff too. Use template refs. That's fine. That's fine. Alright, going to paste that in like that because I always do a typo. We've got the inits and then define use template ref. They've got it as const input, like all of that. Alright, and we're happy with that. And they're like, alright, cool. So we're just going to paste that in like that. We're just going to go down here. We're just going to go, oops. Username input. Keep it like that. Easy done. We want username input. Username input. It's done. We're just going to go down here. we've got username input. We're just going to go console log username input.value. We're going to see what we can access. So I'm going to move this off to the left for you guys. You can notice that we've got a bunch of problems. We're just going to delete all of that. We're just going to hit reload. That's perfectly fine. Now we've got this, which I think is what we want. So we've got a target. Which I'm just going to open up. And I'm just going to be like, all right, cool. So we've got dollars data, we've got prototype. No, we don't have any data or anything like that. Oh, we do actually have a few things in here. Hold on. I'm gonna double check handler. All right. What if I do username input dot value dot no, that doesn't work. How did they have it? Yeah, they've got it like that. All right. Let's just go console log username input. We're just going to go username input. We're leaving it like that. I'm curious. That's all. And I'm just going to hit refresh. We've got this once again. We've got the target. We've got the object itself. So we've got the object. We've got the value. Yeah, that doesn't help us much. Because yeah, when I hover over this, it's not highlighting that at all. If I go temp0.value dot focus. It's not a function. Yeah, I don't know how to solve this problem. All right, let's go. U3 component on focus. And Vue3 on focus event is handled using the standard Vue event binding syntax, which is at focus, which can be used custom. All right, cool. So handle focus event console log input element focus. All right, cool. There's the template, import, setup, mixin. All right, cool. Yeah. The other thing is we could potentially use some basic JavaScript here. So if I just go refresh and I go document.getElement by ID and we pass through import username and I just go focus, will that work? Doesn't look like it. Pain. All right. Let's see what I'm doing wrong. So we'll just bump this in, we'll bump that off to the right. We're all happy with that. By default, syntax, focus options. Options equals prevent scroll. Into view, a value of false to prevent scroll. All right, no, that's what we want. Examples. So we've got input, button focus, click the button to focus on the set button. Yep, all right, cool. JavaScript, document get element, focus button, add event listener, click. Dot focus, which is what we're doing. But it's not letting me do it. We'll try it in here. So when the unmounted, we've got all of this. What we want to do, document get element by ID. Oops. Input username dot focus. Oh yeah, this isn't. Why are you complaining? All right. Oh, it's now doing it. All right, cool. And vasectomy, if I've read that right, vasectomy. Vasectomy? Yeah, all right, cool. Great name. Thank you very much for the follow. Welcome. I do hope you are enjoying my content. It looks like this is actually working now. So if I, let's say, just reload the page, it does bump it in straight away, which is kind of good. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to get rid of that. We are going to get rid of that. We're going to just go dit and then dot focus. We're going to have it like that. Easy done. And then I don't need that anymore. I think this is just going to be the easier way we can do it. I can get rid of the ref down here because we won't be using it. All right. Username should be in focus for the user. All right, cool. Same with the two-factor. So what we want to do is we are going to minimize all of that. We're just going to open up that. We are going to go into the source components. This will be part of the login page. We've got the login, the two-factor. We're going to do the exact same way. I think it just works that way. So on mounted, what we want to do is we've got on mounted, easy done. And so we're just going to go document.get element by ID. We are going to go down here, and now the label is two-factor password, so it should be input two-factor password. I'm just double checking that. Yeah, it's input two-factor password. Ooh, where's the bug there? There's a space in the. I'm not replacing all of the. All right, I found the bug. I've got to fix this bug. So there's no space in here. We're only replacing the first thingy. So give me a couple of seconds. This is a bug which I got to fix in Welk itself. So I'm just going to minimize everything. I'm going to open up Welk. I'm going to open up the source. We're going to open up the components. This will affect pretty much all the components. Now that I think about it. Nice cat. You mean cat? Yeah, she's lovely. She's also very judgmental. Yeah, I'll try and fit there. There we go. There. She likes to judge. Are you gonna look at the, no, you don't want to look directly at the camera tonight. Alright, cool. Alright, so in here we've got an ID for the input, and we've got the get ID. If we scroll all the way up here, we're not replacing all. And I don't think there is a replace all. Yeah, if memory serves me correctly, we had to use regex. So JavaScript regex replace all. So this is the prototype though. There's no replace all in this sort of case. Yeah, no, I was not going to like the string prototype. You okay there, Socks? You're trying to find somewhere to sit down? Okay. Widely available, values, returns a string, alright. I think we've got this set up so this doesn't quite work yet. Three flag to replace all of it. All right. Let's try that out. Number of years. So it started off as a learning project 9 years ago. About 5 and a bit years ago, I deleted 95% of the code. Should be 100% of the code. However, in those 5 years, I've also learnt a lot more, and we're kind of refactoring it now. So what I want to do is I want to move everything into API calls. I want to properly implement a single page application. Stuff I didn't fully want to learn 5 years ago because I was learning VueJS at the time, and now now I know VueJS, I'm like, you know what, I can actually do a lot of this. So yeah. Currently NearBeach does actually work as a project management system. You can actually use it. It just has a lot of technical debt at the moment, which once again, we're refactoring that all out. So yeah, I'm just rebuilding the login page with the idea that we're no longer using Django two-factor. Instead, we're using Django one-time password, which is what Django two-factor is built upon. And yeah. Yeah, I don't mind Vue. I do enjoy it. Alright, so if I paste this in, we've got this. What I probably have to do is break this down into multiple different components. So what I'll do is I'll go let ID equal input. I don't know if you guys can actually see Socks doing her little stretches. No, you can't. You're just seeing, she's like, what? All right, Socks, yeah, they're watching you do your stretches. You continue. We want to go .props.label to lowercase here. And then what I want to do is it'll be id.replace / with a hyphen, and then it will be return ID. I don't know if that will work. We'll test it out. So what we can do, we can open up this. We can go to the console. We can remove all of this. We can go let A equal hello world again. And then we can go a.replace, and it's / space. Do we do that? And then G. And then we do something like that. No. Oh. Alright, no, that's simple. That's very, very simple. Keep it like that. Do the ID and then like that. However, that being said, should be like something like that. And then what I want to do is I'm going to copy this. I'm also going to do a git pull just so I've got the latest code. Yeah, I do have the latest code. And what I'm going to do is a find and replace in files. I'm going to paste them both in like this, but I know this one will literally be like that. And we're replacing with that. And we're just going to go replace all. We're going to go npm run build. Git status, git add, git commit, fix to get ID where it only replaced the first space. All right, and we're just going to git push that for the moment. What I'm going to do, I'm going to copy this dist. I'm going to go back over here. We're going to open up our node modules. We're going to go all the way down to work. We're going to delete the dist and we're going to add it in and call that fix for the moment. Where's my paste? There we go. All right, cool, pasted. I've got to rebuild it. So if we go back into here now, so we've got that appearing correctly. We do have a problem with the image taking a little while to load in. I might do some CSS trickery for that. just to give it that space the instant this loads in, because I know the image is going to load in the next tick or two after. So that should load in, and oh, we didn't automatically click on this. Nah, still doing it with the one. All right, not a problem. All right. It's one of those things I might have to do a deploy, but I'm not going to worry about it. That's a thing for another time. So what we've done here now is this will load up here. I'm going to get it so that the image itself takes up the page, because at the moment we've got all the margin, we've got the width being 100% minus 1 rem, which makes sense. We've got the border radius, we've got all of that. And it's just, yeah. The one problem I'm having is this will appear in the middle of the page for a fraction of a second, which I don't want. And I'm just wondering, I did this I looked this up the other day. Run, actually, hold on. Vite local published mode. There is a way to do this. Build for production. All right, Vite local production build. The reason being is I want something tiny. Preview. But I don't think I've got, oh, I do have preview. I don't know why I just didn't check my npm run. And GB, how are you going? Hopefully you're going well. Ah, preview doesn't work on this. Ah, damn it. All right, not a problem. What I'm going to do, npm run dev. It shouldn't be that much. I'm just going to check on the size of things. 1.65 megabytes. All right, I'm going to be okay with that downloading, and most of that is the fonts themselves and the image. So we're throttling the speed at the moment. I just want to see that pop in and out and how bad it is. Does mean that we've got to download everything, and we've just downloaded 925 kilobytes. We've just finished something else. All right, cool, we get that. So we get this popping in like this, and then we get the image. All right, so what I might do, yeah, I might do some trickery. Different URL on preview, potentially, yeah. I'm doing a couple of tricks to get the whole Django and Vite kind of working. I am using the Django Vite. It could be a bug on that, which is fine. It just means if it is, I'll have a look at that code and be like, all right, cool. How can I fix that? You're okay just reviewing code for a new project? Nice. So yeah, what I could potentially do is, I know this is set up like this. I could potentially use grid. I wouldn't mind using that. Should be a fun project. Ah, nice. Are you allowed to talk about it? This. Shoot. Sorry, I just realized I remembered I throttled it to a good 2G. I'm going to move that up to 3G. Oops. Oh, wrong one. Oh god, where am I? I'm here. Let's refresh. Right, Socks, you want your belly rubs. Yeah, alright. I'm going to get rid of throttling at the moment. I'm going to disable cache still. I'm just going to get rid of this image. So that's what's actually happening. And I'm just wondering if I should do view width instead. Well, let's test it out. All right, so we've got the, I'm just going to minimize everything. I'm going to open up this. I'm going to go source. I'm going to go components, login page. We've got the login panel and two-factor. Oh, the login image there. And it might be, yeah, just the CSS. So display none when it's, you know, on mobile phone. Anything bigger than that, we do a display flex. I'm going to do width is going to be a not 100% view width. It's going to be 50. The height, yeah, we're going to keep the height like that. I'm just going to hit refresh. And that works. And we don't have any problems. All right, sweet. No, I like that. Yeah, just doing some fun. GitHub, code stream. Ooh. This is the code for live stream platform program. It's currently called DevStream, but the name of other things. Oh, nice. Alright, cool. I think that was one of the cats. If you guys are hearing banging and stuff like that, that's just Max. I closed the doors when I started streaming because I didn't want to deal with the 8:30 get up and try and find them situation. So, yeah, he slept through all day being inside and now he wants to go outside. And I'm like, nah, it's nighttime. You're staying indoors. I'm responsible. Alright, I'm going to get him because he won't stop until I get him. I'll be right back. Alright, ooh, I'm falling over. Alright, Fox and Max. Here he is. The one making the racket. He's like, I'm not happy. You want to hop in the bed? You're like, nope. Okay. He was not wanting to hop in the bed. Oh, what happened with my music? Oh, there it is. All right, cool. All right. So I'm happy with that. focus is happening. I'm zoomed in. Yeah, focus is still happening. Are those compact? Yeah, they are compact. Oh. Now, another thing. Now I've just got to do the forgotten password stuff. Which shouldn't be too hard to do. A lot of this would be plain Django type of situation. Yeah, we can get this sorted really quickly. Did you initially AI to set up the structure of the project? No, because AI didn't exist when I initially set up NearBeach. I use AI only as a tool, not a crutch. So a lot of the stuff I set up, I'll do myself. If I get into trouble, sure, I'll try and read documentation and use AI. But I use them together to sort of fortify my understanding of how these things are sort of set up. So yeah. As for the Vite sort of stuff, Vite has a essentially a simple command, and it just builds up all the boiler template for you, and it's just reading the documentation on how you want to manipulate it and so forth like that. So yeah. Alright, so what we're going to do is, if the user types in support at nearbeach.org, we've got to fix up that button for starters. So let's go and do forgotten password. We've got the forgotten password panel, which will be down here. We've got the router link. We've got the object state. All we need to do here is something like this. Do a submit. We no longer have labels like that. We've got class equals primary. It won't be compact. We won't go compact. Yeah, we've got like something like that. I'm just going to get rid of compact here. Yeah, I've ruined my compacts. And I think I know why. Give me 2 seconds. If I remove the nodes and then whelk UI and then npm install, I'm just reinstalling whelk. Npm run dev. What's your advice? Do I use my own full code and just use AI to get help in documentation on seeing a project? It's so good as I use initially AI to make a demo of my project and work with it. Should I? AI is definitely changing things, especially when it's coming to programming and stuff like that. The one problem is you shouldn't use it as a crutch. And what I mean by that is, there we go. All right, cool. What I mean is you shouldn't become reliant on it. It is a great tool to learn from, but treat it like Wikipedia with any sort of knowledge base. It's a great place to start, but you should be reading documentation and other code and to try and find out why it's done like that. Yeah, so good example of how to not make it a crutch. So I studied mathematics at the university level, and we had a piece of software called Maple. Love it or hate it, I don't mind. But what it did was, it was great at doing differentiations and anti-differentiations. If I just use Maple to solve my math equations, I essentially would not know how to do differentiations and anti-differentiations, so I needed to sort of do them. So my recommendation is, sure, use it as a tool, but also program yourself. Try and think through some of the problems. Try and write out some of the code. It will make you a better programmer. But yeah, it's a changing landscape at the moment. Let's just say that. Who knows what will happen in a couple of years? Because I don't. I'm used to Stack Overflow. So, yeah. I'm probably the one of 3 people still using it. Alright, I've got to get this submit working. So what we've got to do is we've got to do a form, and then what we've got to do is add @submit equals emit. It's a $emit, and oh, it won't be login. We never set this up, so I know I need to deal with emits and stuff like that. Now, what am I doing with a ref? Oh, I know what I'm doing with the ref, yep. Use AI to rubber duck when I get stuck or to save me from typing boilerplate. Yeah, but getting it to do boilerplate is great. Rubber ducking, yeah. Should I don't do that and make it from scratch? My recommendation is you got your project now. Try and understand how it sort of fits together. That way, if you need to change something, you can without having to ask it, especially simple things. So, yeah, shame most of what Stack Overflow did was train the models without realizing it. Yeah, still a good resource, but I'm curious how active it is these days. Probably not so much. I've been trying to download the Stack Overflow database, just so it doesn't get lost, because I got a NAS here and I'll be happy spinning it up on my NAS, and that way I could write my own things to query it, and still have something there. But great advice, thanks for that, as I'm an AI student, but I'm being too reliant on AI because seeing vibe coding everywhere. I'll try and make my yeah, you can try and make stuff from scratch, but yeah, you should also look at the code base and try and understand what it's doing. So yeah, I mean, you'll see me every now and then look at some code base, be like, how the hell is this working? How? So yeah. And don't be afraid of reading documentation. AI is great at summarizing documentation, but always remember it can make mistakes. So yeah. It should be a tool, not a crutch. All right, now we've got a text input here that's throwing up an issue. So we need the label. Class compact, placeholder text is required is true. Oh, I haven't set this up at all. You also use and contribute to SO all the time, at least trying to correct misinformation. All right. So I'm just trying to think how I want to set up this sort of page. So we've got the submit. And I most likely won't handle the login, the forgotten password logic up here. What I'll do is I'll actually sorry, I'm just trying to think how I would do this. Oh, Stack Overflow is great, but can also be, yeah, and outdated too. There's some things which, yeah, a bit outdated. What is a crutch? I don't know about that. So... Alright, I clicked on a shopping image. These are crutches. They essentially help you walk. The idea is you don't want AI to sort of inflict it so that you need it as a crutch. You need it more like a tool. So you need it something like, visualize it as a tool belt. The AI can be any one of those particular tools. Your IDE can be another tool, and so forth like that. Whereas if it's becoming a crutch, it makes it harder to, you know, do things by yourself because you need it to get around and so forth like that. Hopefully that makes sense. I'm really bad at explaining things at times. I've been following your development process and it is very insightful. Could you guide me on how you approach scalability in an open source project like this? Specifically, how do you ensure the architect stays clean as more contributors? All right. So one of my worst mistakes I did. So I do go on and waffle about back in August 2020. I actually deleted 95% of NearBeach's code. I should have deleted 100%. So NearBeach was a learning project. I knew I wanted to build a project management system, but I kept adding random things into it, like stuff from a customer relationship management software, and this and that, and quote systems, and it became a bloated, buggy mess, and I realized that I needed to strip everything back and only focus on project management stuff. The other mistake I made was I didn't delete all of it. So as for architecture and stuff like that, my main problem that has been one of the massive sort of tech debts that I have is there's no generic fields in the database. They're all specifically named. For example, project title, task short description, and request for change summary, and stuff like that. It's made it really, really hard to sort of distinguish permissions and so forth like that inside NearBeach. So my recommendation is to make things generic as possible early on, so you don't have to have these case statements in place to be like, oh, if it's this, then the title will actually be this field, and so forth like that. The other thing is, every now and then once a project gets to a certain size, you will need to refactor it. It's the technical debt will just get too big. And that's what's actually happening here with NearBeach. So I'm probably not the best person to ask. All I can say is please learn from my mistakes. So that was great. Randomness is a great driver to innovation. Yeah. So yeah, I've made a lot of mistakes. I've been meaning to actually write a post or a book or something about it, being like, here's all my mistakes that I've done. This is why you shouldn't do this, and so forth like that. So yeah. Other things which I've done is Back 5 years ago, I was learning VueJS. I wasn't the strongest at it, and I didn't want to learn routing or anything like that. And I didn't want to actually handle sending permissions from the back end to the front end. So I sort of took the approach where Django rendered some of the templates, but not all of it. It would render in the Vue templates, and then the Vue templates would take over. So every single page had was reloading the page. It wasn't a single page application at all. So it's more of a hybrid. Then I learned how to do routing. Then I learned how to do Django API and all that kind of stuff. And now I want to re-implement all of that into NearBeach. So yeah. Don't be afraid to refactor, because sometimes it's worth it. All right. So I haven't actually set this up at all. The text input's having a problem. If we actually right-hand click onto that and go to declaration usage, we can actually spot it in here. I'm going to move that off to the side for reference. So we've got the label, which is just going to be email. We've got the, we don't need min length. We don't need max lengths. Placeholder text, your email address. Yep, cool. Tooltip. Not required. Tooltip, not required. Model value. Oh, that's the thing we want. We want the vModel equals, and we're just going to go email address in here. We're just going to go up onto line define model. We want to do, I think we have to import it. Yeah, I think we do. Define model. Yep, all right, cool. So we're going to go email address equals define model, email address. Options, hang on, I'm something's ringing in my head that I'm screwing up. Yes, I am. Sorry, it doesn't need to be that. It just needs to be a ref. Sorry, the define model belongs in the child component, not up here. We just need a ref up here. All right, so there's our text component. So I'm now thinking, on our login page, we've got the different panels. So we'll have the forgotten password panel, and then we'll have the status panel. I think we're going to have to actually do that with this one particularly, this too. So we're going to need to actually emit this up to the parent component, because the parent component will then handle sending that information off to the back end and telling the user, hey, here's the re-login page, or please visit your email for the password reset. Forgotten password. So we want a new folder. We want to call it forgotten password done. Yeah, forgotten password done. All right, in here, what we're going to do, simple div class equals forgotten password done. Nothing too exciting like that. And then what we're going to do is we're going to have a message. Reset sent. Please check your inbox for the password reset. All right. Now, what we're actually going to do is we're going to ignore any fail requests. So we're going to send it off to the back end. And if the backend doesn't have that email address whatsoever, we're going to pretend that it sent an email, no matter what. And the idea here is just to spoof, anyone trying to see if any passwords get reset or anything like that. Yeah, that's pretty much it. So in here, what we've got is we've got those two. And then I want to import ref from Vue. These are getting way too long. Alright, I'm going to re-import that. So import login image from login image. Alright, cool. We got password panel from. Yeah, they're just getting way too long. Alright, so what I'm going to do, define ref. We are going to, what am I going to call it? I'm going to call it const show password is done, is false, straight away. And then what we'll have to do is define the functions. Here is we'll have function submit password reset. That is definitely going to be a void. What we're going to do is we're going to go is done dot value equals true for the moment, and then we're going to deal with Axios in a second. What I want to do down here is I just want to go v if is not done. What I could potentially do, so we are importing something else. We can import, this would be forgotten I'm going to rename it. Sorry. Password reset done. Alright, that should be from password reset done. Password reset done. I'm happy with that. Yep. Alright, cool. And then up here we'll have password reset done. We'll have a VF is done there. Otherwise, this one will be the else. Alright, so I'm happy with that so far. We'll have to deal with the backend soon. Oops, hang on, give me 2 seconds. I know that the deployment is happening tonight, and I just want to make sure. Alright, dealing with Axios, yada. Alright, for the deploy pipelines, I'm using GitHub Actions. I don't actually host it myself at home. I actually host it on Azure. Yes, I do have a NAS. Yeah, one thing which I do want to do, and this is an eventual sort of thing to do, is I want to sort of port it so I can host it on Unraid and stuff like that. So yeah. Otherwise, the GitHub actions, what actually happens is every single time I do a release, it deploys it to PyPI. It then deploys the static files to our CDN, and then it triggers a Docker build. And to actually self-host it yourself, it's not too hard to do. We are doing it in Docker. So, wrong window. There we go. So essentially, you can copy all of this and self-host it. We are going to improve this process with the 0.32 release. So I will be reviewing all of this, and I'll be doing fixes here and there. Yeah, it's just I haven't looked at the Docker stuff in a while. So yeah. Yeah, if that was going to be the case, I was going to probably bail and probably do the setup some other way and so forth like that. It used to take me about 40 minutes to do a release, and I used to do them always on stream. And yeah, it just used to be step after step after step just to get it to work. So yeah, I'm glad I automated it. All right, we can close that. Yeah, so I'm happy with that. And then when they click on submit, what we've got to do is we're gonna handle it up here. Sorry, I'm just double checking. I did send a message out. I'm just double doing anything yet. Sorry. All right. What we want to do is we want an @ on this is where I'm going to look at the login page to see how I did it again, because @ sign in. All right, we'll call it @ reset password equals, yeah, the submit password reset. We'll just do it like that. And then down here with the password, sorry, that one's done. With the password, this particular one, what we want to do is we want to deal with an emit. We just have to go define emit, and then we go const emit equals define emits. Give me 2 seconds. Take off that file mask. I thought it was that. Password reset. All right, so oh, no, that's right. All right, we'll do that. So password reset, submit password reset. It goes all the way up there. We're all happy with that. So that's that. In the emit, that will be password reset. We'll be happy with that. With the button itself, that will also be $emit password reset. So that activates that. That's meant to be define emits. Okay, so what should happen is when you key in information in something in here and click enter, it's not meant to do that. Okay, it's meant to emit the thing. Give me a couple of secs. This is where I have to reference what I did before, because it'd be quicker if I actually do that and then actually look it up. That's emit. All right, I have made a mistake. It's no dollars. Now I'm just double checking. I did get another message. All right. Still. Yeah, it's still submitting when I don't want it to. What I'm going to do, I'm going to put login panel off to the right so I can reference it properly. And what I'm also going to do is I'm going to copy what I've got. That should be password reset. Define emits. Like that. Just making sure everything lines up. All right, cool. I'm just going to rebuild everything, just in case. I'm going to do, we don't need that. Why? And then if I go to the login page, I've got the I know I've done something silly. Something very, very small. Something very, very silly. The idea is, what I want to actually happen is with the forgotten password. Password reset done. There we go. Something silly. There it is. Everyone. Yep, there we go. I knew I did something silly. Needed to go on the forgotten password panel. If I hit refresh, hit submit, boom. Alright. Told you it was something silly. So what we've got to do is we've now got to change the CSS for this. So my recommendation is width at 100%. Yeah, let's build this up. Alright, I'm just going to close other tabs. I'm just going to close this. I'm going to close this. So we know this is kind of working. We won't get this to reset the password tonight. I've got to deal with the back end for that. Famous last words shouldn't take too long. That's going to take me ages. So password reset done. What we want to do is we're just going to go div class equals container. In here, we're just going to do it. So this is the main task. So password reset link emailed. Sent. Please check your inbox for the password reset. And any further instructions. Now, this is scope, so we need the password forgotten. And this is going to be width at 100%, height at 100%. This is going to be display flex, flex directions column, align item center, justify center, and then what we want to do is dot container. And in fact, I don't want to do anything with container just yet. I'm just going to delete it. And there we go. But I do want to do a dot container max width. Let's go 75%. I mean, that's good enough. If we move down into mobile phone, there's the iPad. Yeah, that works. That does work. I like that. And then what we want to do is we want to go router link to login, and we want to put into here, click here to return to login page. And that's pretty much it, but we should put that in another p tag. Are you trying to eat the webcam socks? I don't think people like it when you do that. And there we go. And then people will be able to click on here to go back here, and then forgotten password, back to login, forgotten password. No matter what they type in here, we're going to say, hey, you succeeded. Everyone's happy. Cool. Sorry, it is ad time at the moment. I just realized that, so we'll just give the stream a little bit of a pause, and we'll jump back into it very shortly. Alright, we're just going to do all of that. We're just going to do all of that. Alright. Alright, we've got about 10 seconds left of the ads. I do hope you are enjoying Sox's chin. She does enjoy showing it off to everyone. Sometimes you can see little crumbs in it where she's been eating. Anyway, welcome back everyone. Alright, so we've got this. We've got to return to the login. What I want to do, and we'll quickly set this up. It is almost 10 o'clock here, and I tend to finish around 10 o'clock. Is we're going to go into NearBeach. We're going to go into the views. We've got the API view, and then we've got the authentication. And in here, we've got the forgotten password view. Now, this is going to be a post, and we're only going to allow posts. We're just going to, get rid of all of that. That's just temporary code. Don't worry about that. No one saw that. All right. Shh, 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 quiet. What we want to do is we want to do a reset password. Now, I know I've got a serializer and I've got authentication. We've got the... Oh, Sox, what are you doing? No, stop attacking people. Stop it. No. We've got this one where we've got the username and we've got the password and all that kind of stuff, but we're going to write our own authentication again in here. We're going to go password reset serializer.py. And in here, what we're going to do is it's going to be pretty much based off this. We've got the serializer. What we want to do, password reset serializer, basic serializer. This is just going to be an email. That's it. Yeah, that's all we need from the user. So what we want to do is we want to go back into the forgotten password. We want to put the serializer class is going to be that. Cool. What we want to do is we've got the self request format none. I think it's just give me 2 seconds. I'm going to rewrite that. Def post. Yeah, there we go. And then we pass through the data like that. And then if serializer, if not, serializer is valid, we want to return a response where we've got the serializer errors and we've got the bad requests, and I'm all happy with all of that. We do need to actually import those in. I don't know where Socks put the camera. How does it look? All right, so I'm in a weird position, but that's fine. From REST framework dot response, import response, there we go. And then it's not status within this one. From REST framework dot statuses, from REST framework import statuses. All right, cool. That's what we need. Class dealing with forgotten password. All right, cool. Easy done. All right. So the authentication, we use the class to do all of this. However, this particular one, if we're only got one function in here and it's only doing one type of thing, we'll actually scale this down to just being a function view instead. The reason being is it's easier to read. You're not initializing a class or anything like that every single time someone hits this thing. It's just all function. So yeah. So the serializer is invalid. We're going to do 400 bad requests. That's stock standard type of thing. Is it Django? Yes, it is. So we are also using the Django REST framework here. Yeah. All right, so we don't need the serializer save. We do need to get the username and password out. And this is where I haven't done this in such a long time. And we're gonna read the documentation. All right, reset password. Yep, we've got all of that now. We just need a class reset password view. No, we don't need this in the view. We just need a form generated in the email on time. Use the link to the user passwords. We've done this before, but I never changed it, and it's been such a long time. I'm looking up my own code. However, we were using Django 2-factor, so they might have extracted all of that out. Let's find out. Okay, authentication view. Check first time, login, permission denied, test permission denied. Yeah, we know that. Login view. Yeah, this is using the 2-factor stuff. I'm gonna have to actually search. Password reset. All right. Oh, I didn't mean to go into that. Password reset. All right, cool. Have you forgotten your password? Not a problem. Button, send email. Password reset. All right, that's fine. I just want to copy that because that will hopefully URLs authenticate auth views. Yeah, all right. Auth views, password reset as view, template name. So we're not doing that anymore. So we've got single page stuff. All right. Let's scroll up to the top of the instructions here. Permission and the default script. Yep. Authentication. Yep. Limiting access the raw way. Redirecting. All right. Set unusable password. All right. So class password reset view. We don't want. Yeah. Allow a user to reset the password by generating one-time user link. This will send. All right. Cool. Beware that sending email costs extra time, hence you may be vulnerable to email address enumeration timing attacks due to the difference between, yeah, we know about that. To reduce overhead, you could use a third-party package to allow sending emails, which might be something that we actually do implement. Which, oh, sorry, we got, yeah. Anyway, this is template name for that. We don't want any of that. What we actually want to do is someone else for that. All right, cool. We don't need the views themselves. Confirm view. Yep. All right. We don't need any of that. Helper functions. Redirect to login. That's the form. Yeah, all of those are form. Password change form. Password reset form. No, not quite. User. Set user form, user change form, user creation form. No, not quite. All right. We might be lucky. But this might need a bit of research. Django REST password reset. We don't want that. Let's have a look at this. Include password. API password reset. Yep. So we'll be implementing something similar to that. So the email reset password token created signal indicated. All right. But yeah, you've given me nothing, Google. This might help. Boo. Change password, password reset, email model, email field, token, created at, yep, alright, cool. Apply migrations, yep. REST framework, serializers, yep, alright, cool. We're all happy with that. Password reset, permission, yep, alright, cool. So post serialize, so we post the data in, we get the email out, we find the first one, if do token generator equals that, reset password, yep, cool. Else, response error, user with no credits. No, we need it to generate the email. View for password reset request, alright. Serialized password reset. New password, confirm to do password reset. Yeah, I just need to. Yeah, I just need to find out how we can email and all that kind of stuff. I'll figure it out. But anyway, it is past 10 o'clock. I'm getting tired. I'm going to wind down very shortly. Let's go raid Togglebit, see what they've been up to. It's been a little while since we've seen them. Let's bring them down into view. There they are. All right. But yeah, thank you very much, everyone, for being here tonight. It has been wonderful. We got a lot done, which is great. I'm going to push some code tonight. It looks like 2-factor's done. I just need to do this password reset functionality. From there, we are going to run straight into setting up more of the API and all that kind of stuff. Yeah. Fingers crossed we start running soon. And yeah. Anyway, thank you very much, everyone, and I do hope you enjoyed Togglebit. And for those on YouTube, terribly sorry you won't be able to join us, but don't forget to like and subscribe. It does really, really help the channel, and thank you very much for being here.